truth, Naomi. How long is my body gonna hold out?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the trophies, achievements, and titles that tested gamers to their limits.
Stay low. Recon sortie heading this way.
Number 30, Immortal, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. As far as platformers go, Ori's sequel is one of the best to exist in the modern gaming scene. The polished upgrade from the Blind Forest is evident with every leap and dodge across this beautiful, intricate, and dangerous landscape. That being said, being asked to go through the entire game without dying once is still quite the task. The short runtime might make it sound inviting, but the abundance of enemies, traps, and platforming challenges can easily snuff out Ori at the drop of a hat. Don't say we didn't warn you. Number 29, The Three Mountains, Europa Universalis 4. To conquer a strategy game on its hardest difficulty, especially one as complex as Europa Universalis, takes a special kind of mentality. But even the most battle-hardened and well-versed masters of this game's mechanics may find themselves faltering when it comes to earning this achievement, where you have to own the entire world playing as the tiny Japanese island of Ryukyu. Given their minuscule stature in the face of the nations of the Old and New World, this is the definition of an uphill battle that only the sharpest mind can conquer. Number 28. You asked for it. The Evil Within. Often overlooked yet delightfully demented, The Evil Within games ratcheted up the difficulty when it came to survival horror. And nowhere is this more evident than with this achievement that, if we're being honest, is borderline sadistic. All you have to do to earn it is to complete the game on a Kumu mode. What's a Kumu mode? It's beyond nightmarish. One hit from either enemies or environmental hazards and Sebastian is instantly killed. Ammo is as rare as chicken's teeth, and stronger enemies appear way sooner within the story. Unless you're a master of stealth, then this mode is going to destroy you. Number 27, Millionaire, The Golf Club 2. How hard can it be to earn a net worth of 1 million? In Golf Club 2, apparently quite a bit. Given how the game leans towards realism instead of simplicity, scoring a hole-in-one is the furthest thing from easy, which makes its most trying achievement all the more vexing. Even if you're an ace shot, the amount of games you'll have to play in order to snag that net worth is around the 12,000 mark. Put another way, you're going to have to play 216,000 holes. Significantly more if your performance on the green is terrible. Number 26, The Legendary Hero, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots.
They are the war economy, which makes you and me just cogs in a much grander schematic.
Kojima lives to make us suffer. And while we're usually all for it, this might have been a bit too much. If you truly want to prove yourself worthy of Snake's title, then you're gonna have to tackle this unrelentingly demanding trophy. What goes into earning this particular platinum? Completing the game a minimum of 8 times, one of which you will have to be on the hardest difficulty, as well as not kill anyone, not get spotted, not use any rations, and finish within 5 hours. Throw in all the emblems to complete, and you have one hell of a mission laid out for you.
Don't.
Number 25, Better Than the Best, Sniper Elite 4. There's nothing quite like launching a bullet from a great distance, only to watch a slow-mo X-ray playback of it piercing the under regions of a dictator. The Sniper Elite series offers this in spades. It also has an absolutely grueling achievement for those that consider themselves a true sniper god. To earn it, you have to beat the whole game on Authentic Plus, with 0 manual saves. This setting just so happens to remove the radar and HUD, generally increases difficulty, and all enemies are on extra high alert. Better make every shot count. Number 24, Messiah, Outlast 2.
Yes, my love. Oh. We have mother.
Do you like fumbling around in the dark with death around every corner? Then, boy, do we have an achievement for you. Outlast 2 was already infamous in its challenge, given that it more often than not would trip the player up while offering little in the way of guidance when it came to trekking across its wider world. If the base game didn't give you enough turmoil, then you can try your luck via the elusive Messiah achievement. Beat the game on the hardest difficulty, don't die, and with only 1 charge of battery. What could go wrong?
I can't do this!
You can! You can do this!
Oh, God!
Number 23, The Shadows Rushed Me, Max Payne 3.
Yeah, what were you drinking?
Bet your ass I was. You try staying in there for 5 minutes sober.
Despite the grief and rampant alcoholism, Max Payne is a beast, particularly unkillable given the carnage he can unleash in bullet time. That being said, this particular challenge may be too much even for him. In what feels like an achievement bordering on the impossible, players must complete this intense threequel on hardcore difficulty with New York Minute mode also activated. That means no dying and battling against an unforgiving countdown. Trying to earn this will introduce you to the true meaning of pain. Number 22. Laso Master. Halo, the Master Chief Collection.
Stay low. Recon sortie heading this way.
Whether you're tackling this solo or with a bunch of buddies, this is undoubtedly the most brutal undertaking available for Halo fans. It demands that you best the likes of Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo 4's campaigns in a row on legendary difficulty with all skulls turned on, adding various yet equally hellish modifiers to each section. Best of luck, Spartan, but you're going to have to channel your inner chief if you want to come out on the other end of this gauntlet. Number 21. Bro Tree. Tree Simulator 2022. Play for 10,000 hours. No, seriously, that's it. 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours of just looking at a tree. Yes, it's one of those achievements, and if for some unholy reason you need it in your collection, you're going to have to keep this game running idle for any hope of earning it. But even then, is it really worth it? While it's down to you whether or not becoming a bro tree is a point of pride, rest assured everyone else will look upon you with shame. Number 20. Mile High Club. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Tango down in Section 1 Alpha.
We hope you're quick on the draw because this one is still considered by many the hardest achievement to obtain in any Call of Duty game. On paper, it might sound simple enough. Complete the Mile High Club mission on veteran difficulty setting. However, this becomes a far more complex matter when you realize that it involves taking out waves of enemies, dealing with a hostage situation, and then escaping a double-decker aircraft carrier all within a single minute. Better hop to it. Number 19. This is Total War. Rome 2, Total War. Have an knack for diplomacy and crafting out peace treaties? Well, forget all that, because to get this achievement you have to go full-on tyrannical. Given how it's all too easy to automatically slip into negotiations, players will have to be extra cautious and launch an attack the moment they discover a new group. There's also the annoying little feature of there being so many factions for you to fight against that taking them all on doesn't only require a whole lot of bloodlust, but high-tier strategy to ensure you survive long enough to declare war on the next civilization you encounter. Man, conflict is exhausting. Number 18. The Real Deal. Left 4 Dead 2. Think you can shoot your way out of a zombie apocalypse? Well, only the best of the best will be able to survive and make their way to this achievement. Not only do you have to complete a campaign in expert mode, which essentially increases enemy intellect and strength to absurd degrees, as well as the frequency and size of the horde, but you also have to play it with realism mode enabled. For those that aren't in the know, this basically turns the witch into a living insta-kill, further increasing durability of all other zombies, and generally tests you and your friends to their very limits. Good luck. Number 17. World's Finest. Injustice, Gods Among Us. You may well indeed dominate in online matches as your favorite DC superhero or villain, but in order to prove yourself as the greatest of them all, then you will have to complete not 1, not 10, not 100, but all 240 Star Labs missions.
This is usually the part where I quit.
Not only do each of these missions put various constraints on the player, as well as force them to play as a particular character, but each mission has 3 specific requirements that need to be completed. Add that all together and you essentially have 720 tasks to complete. Yep, this sounds like a job for Superman, alright? Number 16. Hard to the Core. Dead Space 2.
Glad to see you've got all your parts.
You alright?
Yeah.
Isaac Clarke does not have it easy. What with being haunted by a murderous entity posing as his dead girlfriend, all the while surrounded with bloodthirsty necromorphs. If you're a glutton for punishment and think you can handle anything the marker can throw at you, then by all means give hardcore mode a shot. We guarantee you'll regret it.
I don't need your help.
Not only are enemies extraordinarily tough, but you only get 3 chances to save throughout the entire game. One thing is for sure, Isaac is not going to have a good time. Number 15, Ultimate Battler, Star Ocean: The Last Hope. Want to prove your mettle? All this game asks is that you unlock all of the battle trophies. All 900 of them. That's 100 for each of the 9 playable characters in the game. To unlock just one battle trophy, players are required to execute a very specific action, which can range from dealing a very specific amount of damage, attacking first several hundred times, gaining certain items, interacting with specific characters. The list goes on and on. And again, that's just for one character. Truly, your last hope for this achievement is to wade your way through an ocean of monotony. Number 14, Master of the Universe, VVV, VVV. As Captain Viridian, it's your mission to save your scattered crew and escape the titular dangerous dimension, with the only obstacle standing in your way being those accursed spikes often found on most indie platformers. However, there's a catch. You can't jump. All you can do is reverse gravity and direct yourself to avoid being impaled. What could be the most difficult achievement in a game where you're constantly facing death? Complete the whole thing without dying, of course. Want to be the master of the universe? Your only hope is surviving no death mode by the skin of your teeth. Number 13, Impossible Boy, Super Meat Boy. The majority of unlockables to be found in this hit indie title can be completed just by ensuring that our favorite meaty hero manages to make it through levels without dying once. The problem is that some of these levels are hard as all hell. The most difficult of these, oddly enough, puts players in the role of Bandage Girl, where they are required to ace all of the Dark World levels in the Cotton Alley chapter, which happen to be fast-paced and filled to the brim with death traps. And we thought Meat Boy had it bad. Number 12, Reign of Terror, Diablo 3. Abandon all hope, ye who enter, because if you want to prove yourself as a master of this dark fantasy RPG, you have to slay Diablo in hardcore mode. A mode that gives your character one life and one life only, and should you fall in combat, said character is gone forever. Given the amount of enemies and bosses, let alone the strength of Diablo himself, in order to unlock this achievement, players will have to navigate a literal gauntlet of death in order to slay the devil as nothing more than a true mortal. Talk about the highway to hell. Number 11, My Kung Fu is Stronger, Mortal Kombat.
Get over here! Scorpion wins.
Gain mastery of all fighters? Well, that doesn't sound so bad. So how does one go about gaining mastery? We need to earn 100 victories, perform 100 fatalities and their subsequent variables, land 150 of X-ray, spill 10,000 pints of blood, and go through 24 hours of gameplay. Sure, it would take a little while, but after a little while Wait, we have to do that for every single character? Start a tally sheet, because only the most committed of combatants are able to pull this one off. Number 10. Universal Explorer, World of Warcraft. This achievement was formerly known as World Explorer, and for good reason, because this has you going on a trek across the entirety of Azeroth and beyond. In order to be granted the title of Explorer, players not only have to uncover and venture through every region within the Eastern Kingdoms, Outland, Kalimdor, and Northrend, but also all the expansion regions too. That means Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria, and Battle for Azeroth. And yes, you can bet that when the next WoW expansion comes, you'll have to discover all of those regions too. This one just keeps getting harder the longer you put it off. Number 9. 7-Day Survivor, Dead Rising. Frank West does not have it easy. Being stuck in a mall filled to the brim with undead is bad enough, but having to slog it out for a full 7 days certainly doesn't help. In order to snag this time-consuming achievement, players first have to unlock Infinity Mode by managing to earn the game's true ending. From there, it's a sandbox nightmare as 7 days in-game equates to around 14 hours for players non-stop. You're probably going to have to put a weekend aside in order to complete. Here's hoping that you've stocked up on Mega Busters. Number 8. Seriously 3.0, Gears of War 3. If you can manage to land this one, then you might just be as determined as Marcus Phoenix is. First of all, you have to reach level 100, which is already an ordeal in itself. Then it's on to earning the Onyx medals, all 65 of them. These include, but are no way limited to, kill 1,000 enemies with a captive, get 6,000 executions, spot 12,000 enemies, revive 1,200 squad mates, get 25,000 perfect active reloads, win 3,000 matches, earn over 7 million points in arcade mode, make 6,000 kills with every single weapon, and complete the campaign on insane difficulty. Wow.
Victory is ours!
Number 7. The Bladder of Steel Award, Rock Band 2. This one is all about endurance. Sure, the difficulty settings can be lowered, but the fact that you still have to play through 84 songs back to back without pause and without failure is pretty crazy. Whether you excel at vocals, guitar, or drums, you had better get your music chops in order, because between the long hours and lack of any kind of break, this achievement has been known to be too much for even the most seasoned of rock band fans. Between having to play through the likes of Judas Priest's Painkiller and accidentally pressing the pause button, snagging this achievement is the closest we'll get to a Golden God Award. Number 6. I Can See for Miles per Hour, Surgeon Simulator. Not too many achievements are this much harder when intentionally sloppy controls are a fundamental part of the game's design. In order to obtain this achievement, players have to perform an eye transplant in under 2 minutes and 10 seconds, all inside a speeding and bumpy ambulance. For PS4 players, this challenge is made even more tough thanks to the inaccuracy while using a controller. This trophy's small focal points made the joystick twitching a painful exercise, made even worse by the unorthodox methods you need to conceive just to constantly stay ahead of the stress-inducing time limit. Number 5. Mein Leben, Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. And here we have an achievement so tough it has its own dedicated game mode. Mein Leben is the hardest difficulty setting in the game, and in order to obtain the achievement, you have to beat the mode. Sounds like a cakewalk for an experienced veteran, right? Well, hold your horses, Rambo. You want to hear what this involves first. The Mein Leben difficulty is a permadeath run, meaning die once and you have to start over. Oh, and unlike hard playthrough achievements, you can't save at all, meaning that you have to beat the entire game on the hardest difficulty in just one sitting, and save scumming won't work. Think you're metal enough to take this challenge on? Number 4. Emperor, The Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unleashed. Who wouldn't want to rule over all citizens of the Empire, enamored with absolute power and hailed as the greatest in all of Tamriel? Well, good luck, because to do so means you have to outdo thousands of other players in order to earn your throne. Not only does your chosen alliance have to practically control every keep and outpost around Imperial City, but you have to be standing firmly at the top of the leaderboard, meaning you literally have to be the best of the best. Sure, the perks of leadership sound great, but gaining that crown is the literal definition of an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Number 3. Mr. Perfect, Mega Man 10. We've seen challenges that involve beating the game on the hardest setting, not dying once, and not saving. So how could Mega Man 10 up that ante? By not having the player get hit even once, of course. As either Mega Man or Proto Man, players will have to employ a whole lot of jumping and be damn fast with their shots in order to take out enemies. Sure, investing in the bubble shield may help, but that's not going to help much when you go up against the likes of the Block Devil. They don't call this achievement Mr. Perfect for nothing. Number 2. 90-Day Streak, World of Guns, Guns Disassembly. Are you one of those gamers who happens to be a bit of a gun nut? Well, if that includes delving into the inner workings of firearms, then this might be the title for you. And boy, does it come with a hefty challenge. You have to fill in the silhouette of a particular gun, from its hilt, trigger, all the way to the smallest of screws, and you have to do this for 90 consecutive days without making a mistake. Otherwise, all your progress gets sent back to 0. Given the various types of guns you might be presented, and how much time you have to put into it, this is an achievement that requires the patience of a saint. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. World Champion, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. There can only be one. If you reckon that your skill is sharp enough and your trigger finger is on point, then you might as well try your luck at the Universal Leaderboard, where your prize for becoming the #1 player in the world earns you this devastatingly difficult achievement. The only way you'll ever hope to see it is to constantly win matches against stronger opponents to increase your rank, and given how many players stand in between you and the most coveted rank 1, you will need to be flawless in your ability to dispatch your opponents. Which video game achievement do you think is beyond the pale? Let us know in the comments.